So did Napoleon Bonaparte really lead to the invention of the microwave? I mean, technically, yeah, he kinda did. I know it seems far-fetched, especially since microwaves are a relatively modern invention and Napoleon died over 200 years ago. But just stick with me and it'll all make sense, and you'll even see how World War II played a part in all of this. So over in Europe in 1795, France is tearing the continent apart. Napoleon Bonaparte is rising through the ranks, but he faces a huge problem. His armies are marching thousands of miles, but they're starving because their food keeps spoiling. On long campaigns, fresh goods went off within days, and entire groups of soldiers were wiped out by malnutrition before they ever saw a battlefield. Napoleon famously said that an army marches on its stomach, and his army's stomach was in bad shape. Before modern food storage technology, preserving food for a journey meant heavily salting it, smoking it, or drying it out into tooth-shattering bricks. It tasted awful, lacked nutrients, and rotted anyways if it got damp. But Napoleon needed a reliable food preservation method to safely feed his troops on the move. Desperate for a solution, the French government offered a massive reward of 12,000 francs, about $60,000 today, to anyone who can invent a way to preserve food on the go. Enter Nicolas Appert, a former candy maker and chef who spent 14 years experimenting. Appert didn't actually know why food spoiled because bacteria hadn't even been discovered yet. He just went by trial and error. He realized that if you put food in glass jars, seal them, and boil them, the food actually stays fresh. He literally invented canning. His breakthrough actually came about by placing food inside thick glass champagne bottles, sealing them tightly with cork and wax, and boiling them in water for hours. It worked flawlessly, and in 1810, Napoleon personally handed Appert his award. And this single invention revolutionized food logistics for the next 150 years. Because this food preservation method was so innovative and useful, British inventors quickly stole the idea, swapped the fragile glass for tin-plated metal cans, and the global canning industry was born. Over the next century, military logistics led the evolution of metal containers, shrinking heavy tin cans down to lightweight aluminum foil and tin sheets. By World War II, mass-produced canned food and foil packaging were the literal backbone of global military survival. By 1945, World War II was nearing its end, and the US military was relying heavily on a top-secret technology called radar to detect enemy aircraft. At the heart of these radar systems was a vacuum tube called a magnetron, which blasted out high-energy waves. One day, an engineer named Percy Spencer was working on one of these radar sets when he noticed something weird. The chocolate bar in his pocket, which just so happened to be wrapped in that military-grade foil, had completely melted. And this was weird because it wasn't typical body heat or heat from the machinery. The melting occurred quickly and it happened only right in front of the device. Spencer realized invisible waves coming from the magnetron were interacting directly with the food. Instead of brushing off the event, he decided to run some experiments. He put some raw popcorn kernels next to the machine. Boom, popcorn everywhere. The next day, he placed an egg in a metal container. The microwaves caused the egg to explode right in his co-worker's face, as the internal moisture heated up so fast it turned into pressurized steam. These experiments proved that microwaves could heat food from the inside out by vibrating water and fat molecules, generating instant friction and heat. This was revolutionary, as it meant food could be cooked far quicker than with a traditional oven. Once the technology existed, cooking went from a slow process of fire and conduction to an essential tool of modern speed. In 1947, Raytheon released the first commercial microwave oven, called the Radar Range. But you wouldn't want this in your house. The Radar Range was a beast. It stood 6 feet tall, weighed 750 pounds, and cost over $5,000 at that time. Adjusting for inflation, that's over $60,000 today. But the growth and expansion of consumer electronics throughout the 50s and 60s saw immense growth for the appliance industry. And eventually, the invention of smaller microchips and air-cooled parts finally shrunk the device down. In 1967, the first countertop microwave was released. By the late 1970s, lower costs made microwaves common in home kitchens. And nowadays, microwaves are a staple of any household kitchen, with over 1 billion people on this planet owning one. So there wouldn't be a microwave without radar technology. And we wouldn't have known that radar technology could warm up food if that chocolate bar hadn't been wrapped in foil. And the chocolate bar wouldn't have even been wrapped in foil without the invention and evolution of food storage logistics sparked by Napoleon Bonaparte trying to feed his army. But a French emperor accidentally leading to the invention of a kitchen appliance isn't even the weirdest historical chain reaction out there. because the Black Death directly caused how we buy our morning coffee. If you want to see how a 14th century apocalyptic plague completely restructured global labor and gave birth to your modern Starbucks order, and what drunk Europeans have to do with all of this, check out this video right here. And if you want to discover more insane ways history is completely connected, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, at the end of the day, it's all connected.